Stop for just a moment. Whatever you were carrying into this moment, whatever noise was crowding your mind, let it grow quiet now, because something is happening inside you that words have struggled to name. Your soul feels as though it is standing perfectly still, frozen in a place between what used to be and what has not yet arrived. And maybe a part of you has begun to believe that this stillness is the end of something. But I want to tell you the truth, that fear has been hiding from you. This is not the end. You are not standing still at all. You are being drawn, slowly and deliberately, away from an old foundation you have clung to for far too long. There are things in your life you have called stability. You have leaned on them, defended them, built your days around them. But if you look closely, you will see that many of them were never strong at all. They were fragile structures raised out of the fear of loss. You grew so accustomed to leaning on what felt familiar that you forgot how to tell the difference between true peace and the silence of a heart that has simply learned to hold itself together so it will not break. And so I am speaking to you now, in this exact moment, while everything inside you trembles. I am the one who knows the deepest places within you, the rooms you have locked, the dreams you buried, the tears you wiped away before anyone could see them. And I am calling you out of the place where you have settled, because it is no longer the place where you are meant to remain. Long ago in the Gospel of John, these words were spoken over weary hearts. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you the way the world gives. Hear what that means. The peace you have been chasing is not built on endurance. It does not come from gritting your teeth and keeping everything calm by avoiding the truth. That kind of calm is not peace at all. Real peace is life itself. It is presence. It is the open space where your soul no longer has to shrink in order to survive. Yet how many times have you chosen a temporary shelter instead? A shelter built out of old habits and quiet attachments, the kind of things that keep you from feeling alone, while quietly keeping you from ever being free. I have seen the nights you thought no one was watching, the nights you lay still with no tears left and no joy remaining, and you called that maturity. But it was not maturity. It was the mark of a heart that had learned to endure instead of learning to live. I have seen the relationships you hold on to out of a fear of emptiness, even when something deep within you already knows they diminish you, even when they cause you to forget the original beauty that was placed inside you before the world ever told you who to be. I have watched you make decisions for one reason only, to keep the surface calm, while underneath that calm grew cold and isolating, like the still face of frozen lake that hides how lonely it is below. So let me take you somewhere, back to a people standing at the edge of the sea. The people of Israel had walked out of Egypt, out of generations of slavery, and now they stood at the shore of the Red Sea, with an army thundering behind them and a vast unknown stretched out before them. They were trapped, and in their terror some of them did the strangest thing. They longed to go back. They wanted to return to their chains, simply because the chains were familiar. Familiar pain can feel safer than unfamiliar freedom. And in that impossible moment, a word came through Moses that still echoes across every threshold a frightened soul has ever stood at. Do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see deliverance. You are standing at a sea like that right now. Behind you lies the old foundation, the life you knew, the version of yourself you outgrew. Before you stretches territory that has not yet opened, ground you cannot map. And I want you to understand something with absolute clarity. I am not leading you out of the old in order to abandon you in the open. I am leading you out so I can bring you into what is real. I am not asking you to leave your refuge because I want you exposed and unprotected. I am asking you to leave because that place no longer carries any life, and I love you too much to let you build the rest of your days on ground that has already died beneath you. There are foundations in this world that look unshakable from the outside. They appear solid, dependable, permanent, and then the lightest wind passes through, and suddenly you can see the cracks that were always running underneath. I am allowing that wind to move through your life now, and I know it frightens you. But hear my heart, the wind is not here to destroy you. It is here to show you gently and honestly what you have been holding that was never meant to hold you. Think of Abraham. When he was called to leave the land of his fathers, he was not handed a detailed map of where he was going. He was not shown the cities he would never see in his lifetime. He was given a single sentence and a promise: go to the land that I will show you. That was all. No coordinates, no timeline, no guarantees he could verify in advance. And he went, because faith was never meant to be a transaction where you see the whole road before you take the first step. You are being led the very same way, not by control but by trust. For most of your life, you have believed that gripping the familiar tightly enough would keep you safe. But I tell you the truth that has waited a long time to reach you. True security has never lived in control. It lives in belonging. You were not created to survive inside structures you raised out of the fear of being left behind. You were created to dwell in a presence where you never have to pretend to be whole, where you never have to hide your weakness to be accepted. I am the refuge you have been searching for in lesser places. I am the fortress, not the fragile attachments you have been calling peace. Now let me show you a man stepping out of a boat onto open water. The disciples were crossing the sea at night when a storm rose, and through the wind they saw a figure walking toward them on the waves. It was the Lord, and Peter, impulsive and full of longing, called out and asked to come. He was told to come, and he did. He climbed over the side of the boat, and he walked on the water. As long as his eyes stayed fixed on the one who called him, the waves held him up. But the moment he turned his gaze to the wind, the moment fear became bigger to him than the voice that called him, he began to sink. And here is what I want you to feel in your chest. He was not abandoned to the water. A hand reached out and caught him before he went under. That is exactly what I am asking of you. Step out of the boat of your familiar limitations, not because I want you in danger, but because I want to teach you a different kind of security than the one you have always known, the security of presence rather than the security of control. And understand this, I am already standing in the middle of the storm you are so afraid of. I am there in the very place you think will swallow you, ready to hold you up the moment you dare to trust. I do not ask you to be strong all at once. I do not require you to release everything in a single brave breath. I only ask that you be willing to believe that where I am leading you is not loss. It is expansion. You are being led out of a narrow room into a wide place where your soul can finally breathe. And as you begin to loosen your grip, you will discover something that surprises you. Not everything collapses. What collapses is only what never truly belonged to you in the first place. What is real does not require your desperate grip, because what is real I will hold for you. You are not being emptied. You are being made ready. I am clearing the space around you so that you will stop living by sheer endurance and start living by fullness. I am not taking things away to leave you poor. I am taking them away to set you free. I am not dismantling the old foundation to abandon you in confusion. I am tearing down what was temporary so I can establish you on what is true. And when you finally step forward, you will look back and realize that the thing you once mourned as a great loss was only a doorway, leading you into the place you were always meant to belong. So rise not in confusion, but in the awareness that you are being led. You are not walking alone. You have not been abandoned. You are being carried out of the shadow of everything temporary and into a light that will never fade. And as you walk, I will go before you to prepare the way, beside you to steady your steps, and behind you to guard everything you leave undone, so that not a single step you take will fall outside of my keeping. Let me speak to you now with even greater gentleness, because I see what you may not yet see about yourself. What you are living through is not a meaningless collapse. It is a quiet reshaping of your soul. For years you have lived like someone building shelters in uncertain country, and in a wisdom born entirely of fear, you chose foundations that looked safe but carried no life. You learned to lower your expectations, so disappointment could never reach you. You learned to keep your distance, so pain could never find you. You learned to stay silent, so conflict could never erupt. And slowly, one careful choice at a time, you began to call all of that stability. But I see beneath the surface of your calm, and I know how often your soul has had to shrink itself just to make it through another ordinary day. So I begin to do something you do not always understand at first. I allow those old foundations to tremble, not to ruin you, but to wake you out of a structure that has simply grown too small for the person I am forming inside you. There is an old question in the scriptures that asks, if the foundations are shaken, what can the righteous do? You are standing inside that very question right now. But you are not standing there to be lost in it. You are standing there to discover that I never built your destiny on anything that could be so easily shaken. I am moving you off the sand and onto the rock. I am moving you out of the temporary and into the lasting. You are beginning to see it already. The things that once made you feel safe cannot hold you the way they used to. Praise no longer sustains you the way it once did. The approval of others no longer steadies your hands. And relationships that once made you feel like you belonged now seem to require that you make yourself smaller in order to fit inside them. You may grieve this as loss, but I call it an opening. Remember Abraham again, leaving his homeland. He did not lose his place in the world. He was led into a promise he had not yet seen. You are in that very movement now. You are not being stripped bare. You are being led forward. I see the walls you built so that no one could ever touch the most fragile places inside you. You believed that if you made them high enough, thick enough, sealed tightly enough, you would finally stop feeling pain. But you did not realize that the same walls keeping pain out were also keeping my breath from reaching you. So I do not come to break you. I come to enter the rooms you locked in fear. There is an image in the scriptures of a voice at a door, knocking, not forcing the door open, not breaking it down, simply knocking patiently, so that you might finally recognize that the one you have been searching for through every layer of your defenses has been standing just outside the door of your heart all along. Now let me tell you the story of a young man named Joseph, because his life holds a secret your own heart needs to hear. When Joseph was young, he was given enormous dreams, glimpses of a future so large he could barely understand them. And then everything fell apart. He was thrown into a pit by the very brothers who should have protected him. He was sold into slavery. He was carried far from home, falsely accused and forgotten in a foreign prison. If you had looked at his life with ordinary eyes, you would have said that every foundation he ever stood on had crumbled. You would have called it ruin, but it was not ruin at all. It was hidden construction. Every place that looked like collapse was a place where I was quietly shaping him into someone large enough to carry what I had promised. And at the appointed time, the man of the pit and the prison stood up in authority over a nation, and he became the source of provision and rescue for thousands, including the very brothers who had betrayed him. I tell you this because what is shaking in your life is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you no longer belong to the smaller level you once lived on. I can hear the question rising in the quiet of your heart, the one you have been almost afraid to ask. Why have the things I always relied on suddenly become so unstable? And I will answer you with a truth that is both tender and firm. It is because you are growing. A child cannot stay in a small room once their body has grown tall. A soul cannot keep living inside old limitations once I have stretched it with my own breath. The scriptures speak of growing in grace and in deeper knowledge, and that kind of growth is not always gentle. Sometimes it arrives as disruption, precisely because nothing less would have been strong enough to pull you out of what is no longer enough for who you are becoming. You think you are losing your sense of security, but what is really happening is that I am redefining what security even means inside you. True security was never the absence of shaking. It is the place you never have to leave, the place where you stay anchored no matter what moves around you. When I am your foundation, the changes in your circumstances no longer have the power to shatter you, because your roots are no longer sunk into people or emotions. They are sunk into me, and that is why you can no longer tolerate the things that once made you shrink. You may feel that as discomfort, but I tell you it is the discomfort of awakening. When light returns to a room, the darkness can no longer hold its old shape. When truth finally touches you, the things that once felt acceptable, even though they were never right, begin to feel unbearable. This does not mean you are moving in the wrong direction. It means you are being realigned with what is true. I do not condemn you for the way you built your life. I understand that you built it to survive, and survival is no small thing. But I will not allow you to stay there forever, because I never designed your life for mere survival. I designed it for fullness, and fullness simply cannot fit inside the old structures. So hear me clearly. What is shaking is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to free you. What is leaving is not abandoning you. It is making room for what I have already prepared. And what feels like the loss of security is in truth my way of carrying you into a firmness you have never known. I am not distant in this. I am not turned away. I am present inside the very process that is unsettling you. And when every old layer has finally fallen, you will not find yourself standing in emptiness. You will find yourself rebuilt, this time on a foundation that cannot move. Let me show you how this rebuilding actually happens, because it is gentler and stranger than you imagine. When I change the foundation of your life, I do not do it by force, and I do not begin by demanding that you let go of everything overnight. I work in a deeper, quieter, more lasting way than that. I begin to transform the very substance inside you, the hidden place where every reaction is born, where every choice takes shape, where every fear first forms. You have always assumed that change comes through dramatic decisions, through great visible turning points. But the truest transformation begins in the places you cannot even see. There is a promise in the words of the prophet Ezekiel, a promise that I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. Do you understand what that means? I do not begin by rearranging your circumstances. I begin by renewing what is inside. So when I replace your exhaustion with stillness, you stop reacting to life the way you used to. When I exchange the old fear of being abandoned for the steady assurance of being held, even the rhythm of your breathing begins to change. When I trade your doubt for the gentle light of clarity, your thoughts begin to settle into a new order. You will not always notice it as it happens, but there will come a morning when you wake and something feels subtly different. A breath that goes a little deeper than before, a space in your chest that is no longer clenched so tight, a reaction that once would have surged now softening into quiet. That is not coincidence. That is not something you manufactured through willpower. That is me, quietly replacing the old material of your foundation, the substance of self-protection you laid down long ago, with a new substance of peace. And when the inner structure finally becomes steady, the outer life stops collapsing the way it used to, because it is now resting on entirely different ground. There is something even deeper I want you to understand. This whole process is not only healing, it is a return to belonging. For a long time you believed you were living inside safe houses, made of relationships and habits and familiar spaces. But I saw the truth. Many of those shelters were not keeping you safe. They were only helping you forget how restless you were. So I have begun to draw you back to myself, not by force, but by a quiet pull you cannot quite resist. And you can recognize that pull by its signs. You find yourself growing weary of conversations that used to fill your time. Things that once captivated you now feel strangely empty. Your heart begins to crave stillness instead of chasing the pace it once ran at. You might fear you are simply losing interest in life. But I tell you, this is the sign that you are being led back to where you actually belong. There is an old invitation that still stands open. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That weariness you feel is not a failure. It is an invitation to come home, and I do not draw you back to control you. I draw you back so that you will finally stop trying to hold yourself together by your own strength. For years you have braced yourself, tightened yourself, carried the entire weight of staying stable on your own shoulders. But in me you do not have to strive. You only have to remain, and as you remain, I will do the rest. Think of the potter and the clay. The potter does not throw the clay away the moment he sees a flaw. He does not hurl it aside in frustration. He presses it back, he reshapes it. He keeps his hands on it until the form he always intended begins to emerge. That is what I am doing with you. I am not tearing you down, I am reshaping you. And though it may feel at times like you are losing control, the truth is that I am teaching you to let go, not in despair, but in the freedom of knowing you were never the one who had to hold everything together. I am the one who holds, and the moment you stop trying to carry it all by your own power, you will discover a support beneath you that you have never felt before. Now I want to take you to one of the loneliest places in all of Scripture, because I suspect you have been there yourself. There was a woman named Hagar, a servant, who fled into the wilderness in pain and despair. No one came looking for her. No one spoke up to defend her. No one even seemed to notice she was gone. She believed she had been completely forgotten, cast out into an empty country to disappear. And yet in that desolate place, where she was certain no eyes were upon her, she was met. She heard her own name spoken in the silence. She discovered that all of her suffering had been seen, every tear of it, every sleepless thought of it. And out of that encounter, she gave a new name to the one who had found her. She called the one who met her in the wilderness, the God who sees me. You understand what that means for you? Even in the place where you feel most abandoned, you are not unseen. Even in the country where you are sure no one is coming, you are not alone. I am there, and not merely to observe you from a distance, but to reach you, to lift you, and to lead you out of the loneliness you had begun to mistake for your destiny. So do not let a passing emotion convince you of a permanent truth about yourself. Do not let a dark season define your worth. Light does not disappear simply because you cannot see it in the moment. It remains waiting for you to turn and recognize it. And I am that light. There is a promise that whoever follows me will not walk in darkness but will carry the light of life. As you draw near, you do not have to strain to become light. You simply begin to reflect the light that has always been in me. Let me show you another moment, smaller and quieter, but just as tender. There was a man named Nathanael who sat alone beneath a fig tree, convinced that he was unremarkable, certain that no one of importance had ever taken notice of him. And then he came face to face with the Lord, and what astonished him was not a dramatic miracle. It was a single sentence. Before Philip ever called you, I saw you sitting under the fig tree. What undid him was the discovery that he had been seen in his most private, unguarded moment, the moment he assumed was invisible to everyone. And the same is true for you. Before you call out, I already know. Before the doubt forms in your mind, I already understand it. Before you ever question whether your life carries any meaning at all, I have already settled the matter of your worth deep within my own heart. You are not the result of chance. You are not a late idea, an afterthought squeezed into a crowded world. There is a song in the scriptures that says your unformed body was already seen, that all the days written for you were recorded before a single one of them began. You were thought of, planned, and loved long before you were ever capable of understanding what love is. There are dreams you have never spoken out loud. There are longings you have hidden in the deepest corners of yourself, afraid that exposing them would only invite disappointment. There are fears so quiet you do not even have words for them, and not one of these is unfamiliar to me. Every passing thought, every whispered prayer breathed into the dark, every tear you wiped away quickly so that no one would notice, all of it stands before me as clearly as stars in a night sky. And I do not search you in order to condemn you. I behold you in order to keep you. My attention is not cold surveillance. It is the watchful tenderness of one who loves you and will not look away. So please, do not believe the lie that you have to make yourself impressive in order to deserve my care. I do not love you because you stand out from the crowd. I love you because you belong to me. Even when the whole world turns its back on you, I am still turning my face toward you. Even when you feel lost in a sea of faces, I am still calling you by name. There is an ancient declaration that says, I have loved you with an everlasting love, and so with loving kindness I have drawn you. That love does not rise and fall with your moods. It is not shaken by your circumstances, and once you truly grasp that you are this fully known, you will stop being so terrified of being misunderstood. Because even when others read you wrongly, I read you rightly. Even when no one else can see your heart, I see it completely. Even when you cannot yet recognize the potential inside you, I have been gazing at it from the beginning. You have grown used to the loud and overwhelming noise of the world, and somewhere along the way, you began to assume that anything truly powerful must arrive with intensity and spectacle. But let me teach you a deeper mystery about how I move. True power does not need to be loud. Remember the prophet Elijah, exhausted and afraid, hiding in a cave on a mountain. A great wind came and tore at the rocks, but I was not in the wind. Then an earthquake shook the ground, but I was not in the earthquake. Then a fire blazed, but I was not in the fire. And after the fire there came a sound so faint it could barely be called a sound at all, a still and gentle whisper. And that is where Elijah finally heard me. I chose to come close in the quietest way because his heart did not need more pressure. It needed to be held. So do not strain to hear me in the chaos. Learn to recognize me in the stillness, in the gentle whisper that never competes with the noise, yet never fades away. I have seen the moments you stood in silence, staring at what looked like the ruins of your own life, wondering whether anything good could ever grow from such desolation. You held the broken pieces in your hands and decided they were nothing more than fragments of painful memory. But hear me, I am the one who turns ashes into beauty. I do not need a flawless blueprint to create something extraordinary. I use the very cracks to let the light pour in. I use the failures to build depth. I use what is broken to reveal a beauty you have never seen before. The tears you tried so hard to hide did not fall into a meaningless void. There is a line in the scriptures that says my wanderings have been counted and my tears collected and kept. Imagine that your tears are not lost on the cold ground. They are treasured, every one of them. I do not take your pain lightly. I do not consider your restless nights insignificant. Every time you trembled in fear, every moment you sat in silence because words had failed you, I was there quietly and steadily resting my hand upon you. You may not realize how many times you thought you had risen by your own strength, when in truth it was I who lifted you. There were days you were certain You had nothing left to keep going, and somehow you made it through to the evening anyway. That was not luck. That was my breath sustaining you. When the ashes of failure settled over your dreams and you were sure everything had ended, I breathed a new spark of hope into the very ash. There is a beautiful promise that I give beauty for ashes and the oil of joy in place of mourning. I do not only comfort you in the ruins, I rebuild on the ruins. I take the very rubble of what fell and lay it as the foundation of something new. Think of the prophet Jeremiah, who once lamented that he had been born only to see hardship and rejection. There were moments he wanted to stay silent and never speak again because the weight inside him was simply too much to carry. And yet in the middle of that despair, there was a fire shut up in his bones that he could not extinguish. The same is true of you. However broken you have felt, there is still something inside you that I placed there, a flame that the darkness has never been able to put out. You may look at yourself and see only weakness, but I look at you and see a life that has never gone dark. There are days when you wonder whether your existence holds any meaning at all. You look into the mirror and you see only the cracks, the shortcomings, the expectations you never managed to meet. But when I look at you, I see my own image reflected back. From the very beginning, it was written that you were made in my image, and that is not a small detail to be glossed over. You are not a random fragment of creation. You are a work I have carefully formed, and even if you cannot feel your own worth, that does not make it disappear. A jewel buried under dust is still a jewel. Its brilliance does not depend on whether anyone is looking at it. Even when you turn away from yourself, even when you accuse your own heart, I have never once turned away from you. When you no longer believe you are worthy, I still call you mine, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. So do not be in a hurry to define yourself while the storm is still passing through. Do not label your whole life by its darkest hour. What you are going through is not your final identity. You think you are breaking, but I see you being formed. You think you are lost, but I see you being led through a valley where you are learning to recognize my voice more clearly than you ever could in the easy places. You think you are weak, but I see in you a tenderness capable of holding enormous compassion. There is a truth that says my power is made perfect in weakness, and it is exactly in the places where you feel most fragile that I am laying down my strength. This brings me to something you have asked me for, again and again. You have asked me for strength, but somewhere in your imagination, you pictured strength as something effortless, something placed gently into your open hands at no cost to you. You hoped it would arrive fully formed and require nothing of you. But true strength is not wrapped in comfort. It is born in the place of trial. It is forged when you stand firm against opposing winds. Look at the shepherd boy named David. He did not become a king simply because oil was poured over his head one afternoon. Before any crown, he faced the lion and the bear out in the wilderness with no one watching. He faced the giant Goliath, while a whole army trembled behind him. Those battles were not punishments. They were the hidden places where I shaped a forgotten shepherd into a leader for an entire people. Without those lonely days in the field, would he ever have learned to trust me on the battlefield? And so it is with you. The days when you feel stretched past your limit are not proof that I have abandoned you. They are proof that I am strengthening you. The strength I give is not a hardness that no longer feels pain. It is a steadiness born out of dependence. When you kneel in your weakness and finally say, I cannot do this without you, that is the exact moment my deepest work begins. And I do not remove every trial so that you will never weep. I walk with you through every trial so that you will never fall. There is difference between the two, and the difference will change the way you live. I never promised you a road without storms. I promised you a presence that would never leave, even when you walk through the darkest valley. the valley of the shadow itself, you do not need to be afraid, because I am with you. I do not only lead you to safe and pleasant places. I walk beside you through the dark ones, and in those trembling steps you will discover that I am nearer than you ever imagined. Now there is something I need to speak to gently, because I know it is the quiet ache underneath so much of your unrest. You have been waiting. You have prayed your prayers, and then opened your eyes to find that what you longed for had still not appeared. You have heard the knocking of your own heart as you searched for an opportunity, an answer, a single confirming sign that you were on the right path. And in the deep places where you would never say it out loud, you have wondered whether you have been forgotten in the crowded rush of life. So, let me answer the question you have been afraid to ask. I have not forgotten what I began in you. There is a promise spoken through the prophet Habakkuk, that though the vision seems to linger, you are to wait for it, because it will surely come and will not be late. What feels to you like delay is not denial from me. Consider the prophet Daniel, who prayed and fasted for many long days and saw absolutely nothing change. The heavens seemed shut, the silence stretched on. What he did not know was that from the very first day he humbled himself and prayed, his words had already been heard, and the answer had already been sent. It simply had to pass through unseen resistance before it could reach him. Do you understand what that means for your own waiting? There are movements taking place far beyond your sight. There are doors being opened in rooms your feet have not yet entered. Silence does not mean I am indifferent. More often than not, silence is the sign that I am working at a level too deep for you to watch. Not a single one of your prayers dissolves into nothing. Not a single sigh you breathe falls without reaching me. The scriptures say that I am near to the brokenhearted, and that I rescue those who are crushed in spirit. I do not only hear with ears, I perceive with my heart. When you grow weary in the waiting, I do not accuse you of weak faith. I understand the longing inside you, because I am the one who placed that longing there. You may have knocked on a door that stayed firmly closed, but hear me, not every closed door is a loss. There are paths that, if they opened too soon, would only bring you harm. There are gifts that, if they were given before the right time, would cause you to stumble under their weight. I am a father who not only gives what is good, but also protects you from what is not yet right for you. When I shut a door, it is not because I lack the power to open it. It is because I can see farther down the road than you can. And when I do open a door, no one in heaven or on earth can shut it. Let me show you why this matters through a strange and almost humorous story. There was a man named Balaam who insisted on traveling down a road that looked perfectly favorable to his own eyes. He could not see the danger ahead, but his donkey could see what he could not. An angel standing in the path with a drawn sword, and so the animal refused to go forward. Balaam was furious at the obstacle, certain that something was working against him, when in fact the obstacle was the only thing protecting his life. How often have you been just like that, frustrated at being held back, angry at a delay, certain that life was conspiring against you, when all along the thing you resented was mercy in disguise? Protection does not always come in the shape you expect. Sometimes it looks exactly like the closed door you have been crying about. So instead of letting your heart be torn apart by doubt, place it into my hands. The seasons do not rush me. Circumstances never confuse me. And what looks like delay to you is so often preparation in my eyes. Think of a seed dropped into dark soil. It does not become a tree overnight. It lies hidden in the earth, covered over, looking for all the world as though nothing at all is happening. And yet in that very darkness, the roots are forming. In that hidden place, life is being gathered for the rising that will come. The scriptures describe how the seed sprouts and grows, though the one who planted it does not understand how. Growth so often happens in silence, beyond what the eyes can see. When you feel like you are standing still, I am making you steady. When everything seems slowed down to nothing, I am laying a foundation deep enough that what comes next will not be able to shake you. If a seed refuses the season of being hidden, it will never grow strong enough to rise. If the roots do not go down deep, the tree will not be able to stand when the winds finally come. You have asked me for the blessing, but I am also building the foundation underneath it, so that the blessing, when it arrives, will not crush you. There are things that given too early would become a burden rather than a gift. So the slowness you feel is not coldness, and it is not indifference. It is protection. It is formation. Just as a potter does not pull a vessel out of the fire before it has hardened, I will not move you into a new place before you are ready to stand there. I do not abandon my work unfinished. There is a promise that the one who began a good work in you will carry it through to completion, and I have every intention of keeping it. Remember Abraham one more time, waiting years upon years for the promise of a son. He saw nothing but his own advancing age and his own weakening body. Everything visible argued against the promise, and yet he did not waver in unbelief when he considered how impossible it looked. He chose to trust the one who had promised rather than the circumstances surrounding him, and in that long waiting, I made the impossible become real. Faith is not the comfort that arrives after the answers come. Faith is the choice to hold my hand while the answers are still missing. And so I am asking you to trust me not only when the light is bright and the path is clear, but also when you are walking through the mist. Trust that when you cannot see, I still see perfectly. Trust that when you feel you can do nothing at all, I am doing more than you could possibly imagine. There will be times when all you can do is wait, and it is precisely when you feel most powerless that I am working in the most profound way. Remember the people standing at the edge of the Red Sea again. There was no path ahead of them, and an army closing in behind them. They could not open that water by their own strength. It was impossible, but in the very moment when they could do nothing at all, the sea opened before them. Your helplessness does not make me helpless. When your hands finally fall still, that is when my hand begins to move. So there is a kind of stillness I am teaching you, the stillness that comes from the words, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness is not surrender to defeat. It is surrender into trust. It is the placing of your impossible situation under an authority far greater than your fear. That stillness also teaches you to look up instead of looking around. When your eyes are fixed only on what has not yet happened, your heart can be swallowed whole by disappointment. But when you lift your gaze to me, you begin to glimpse a purpose larger than the moment. There is a quiet declaration in the scriptures where the soul says it waits in silence for God alone because its hope comes from Him. That silence is not despair, it is anchoring, and while you are waiting, I am not only preparing what you are waiting for, I am preparing you, because if I were to hand you the fullness of the promise before you were formed enough to hold it, the promise itself could become the thing that breaks you. Consider Joseph once more and notice the timing. The dream came to him early, but the fulfillment came only after years of testing. If I had lifted him into authority the moment the dream arrived, would he have had the depth to carry it? But through the pit, through the prison, through being misunderstood and forgotten, I formed him into a vessel strong enough to bear enormous responsibility without being corrupted by it. So when his season finally came, he did not merely receive the blessing. He was mature enough to steward it well, to handle power with humility, to use his position to save the very people who had wronged him. The waiting was never wasted. It was the making of the man. So waiting teaches you patience. Silence teaches you discernment. Delay teaches you perseverance. And when your season at last arrives, you will not only celebrate the outcome, you will recognize that you yourself have been transformed by the journey to it. There is a promise that no good thing is withheld from those who walk in integrity, and I want you to understand how wide that goodness is. It is not only the visible success you have been picturing. It is maturity, it is depth, it is a living relationship with me that nothing in this world could ever buy. Because here is the truth at the center of everything. I do not only want to give you gifts, I want to give you myself. If you seek only the things my hand can give and forget to seek my face, you will lose heart the moment those things are delayed. But when you seek me first, you will discover that my presence itself is the greatest gift of all, a wellspring that will never run dry. Now let me show you what I can do with the things you have already given up for dead. There was a woman named Naomi who came back to her hometown empty-handed and bitter, convinced her life had been reduced to nothing but loss. She had buried her husband and her sons in a foreign land, and she told the people of her town to stop calling her by her old name and to call her bitterness instead. As far as she could see, the story was over, but out in the fields of a new season, I was already weaving a story she could not yet read. A young widow named Ruth, who had refused to abandon her, met a man named Boaz in those fields, and through that meeting, I opened a lineage that would eventually carry a king, and beyond that king, a redeemer for the whole world. From what looked like a bitter ending, I wrote one of the most beautiful beginnings ever told. And I am no less able to do that with the fragments in your own hands. Look at the valley the prophet Ezekiel was shown, a valley full of dry bones, scattered and bleached white, with no breath and no life left in them. By any natural measure, it was the very picture of something finished beyond all recovery. And yet a word was spoken over those bones, and they began to come together. Sinew and flesh covered them, and then breath entered them, and they stood up alive, a vast living multitude where there had been only death. You may be certain that your dreams have died, that the dry places in your life are past saving, but I see potential waiting to be restored where you see only remains. When I place a promise inside your heart, I also place a process inside it, and the darkness of the soil is never the place where the story ends. It is the place where the rooting begins. There is one more story you must remember, because it stands at the very edge of impossibility. The Lord came to the tomb of a man named Lazarus, who had already been dead 4 days. Everyone there believed it was far too late. The grieving had already started. The stone was already in place, and yet a single word was spoken, calling the dead man by name, and life returned to a body that the whole world had given up on. I do not only come when the circumstances are favorable. I come even when everything appears beyond restoration. For in me, nothing is ever truly lost. So whatever in your life you have already buried and stopped expecting anything from, do not be so sure it is finished. What you are calling an ending, I may be calling a beginning. I want you to receive something now that you have been hesitant to accept. There are blessings standing at the door of your life that you keep refusing, because somewhere inside you have decided you are not good enough to receive them. But hear me carefully. The good I want to give you is not handed out as a reward for being perfect. It flows out of who I am. My love does not operate by the world's exhausting system of earning and deserving. When I give, I do not require you to prove anything beforehand. Every morning I open before your eyes is not merely a continuation of yesterday. It is a brand new opportunity placed into your hands, because my mercies are new every single morning. You are not chained to your past. Your mistakes do not have the authority to dictate your future. What you have not yet accomplished is not a sentence hanging over your life. When you step into a new day, I am already there waiting for you, not with a list of accusations, but with open arms. Let me prove it to you with the story of a man who was certain he had ruined everything. Peter, who had walked with the Lord and loved him, denied even knowing him 3 times on the worst night of his life. He believed his failure had closed every door, that his calling was finished, that there was no way back from what he had done. And yet I did not revoke a single word of what I had spoken over him. He was found again by the shore, where a meal had already been prepared for him, and there his calling was not only restored but enlarged. Do you see it? Failure does not get the final word over your life. I get the final word, and my word is always full of hope. So do not let the voice of shame drown out the voice of your calling. I am not searching you for flawless perfection. I am searching for a willing heart. When you give me your weariness, I will give you my peace. When you surrender your fears, I will set courage in their place. When you finally let go of what you were never meant to carry, you will feel my hands lifting you up. Now let me teach you the secret of peace, because you have been looking for it in the wrong place. For most of your life, peace meant getting everything around you to hold still. You needed every problem solved, every conflict resolved, every loose thread tied off before you would let yourself breathe deeply. But I am doing something new in you. I am teaching your heart to rest, even while things remain unfinished. The peace I give is described as a peace that surpasses all understanding, the kind that guards your heart and your mind even when nothing makes sense. This is not a peace that depends on your circumstances cooperating. It is a protection that flows out of a presence that never leaves you. You were never meant to be the one straining to hold the whole world together. You were meant to be held. Picture the disciples in a small boat on the Sea of Galilee when a violent storm broke over them. The waves were crashing in. The boat was filling with water, and they were certain they were about to die. And where was the Lord? He was asleep in the very same boat, in the very same storm. When they woke him in their panic, he spoke a single word to the wind and the waves, and the sea fell silent. Notice this. The storm did not stay away from him. He did not avoid it. He simply carried a peace inside the boat that the storm could not touch. And at the right moment, that peace overflowed and stilled the chaos around him. My presence does not always remove your storm in an instant, but it keeps your soul from being swallowed by it. You do not need a life without disturbances in order to have peace. You only need to know that I am there, right in the center of the upheaval. There is a remarkable picture of this deep in the scriptures, of 2 men named Paul and Silas, locked in the inner cell of a prison, their feet fastened in chains, their backs bleeding, the night pressing in around them. By every outward measure, there was nothing to sing about. And yet at midnight, in the darkest hour of the darkest place, they began to pray and to sing songs of praise, and the other prisoners listened in astonishment. Their circumstances had not changed at all. The chains were still on, the walls were still standing, but the inner space they were living in belonged to an entirely different reality. And that is exactly what I am teaching you. I am leading you into a place where your circumstances no longer get to decide the state of your soul. You are learning to let me become your center, your fixed point, so that the storms can rage around you without moving the thing that matters most inside you. As this peace settles into you, something else begins to grow alongside it, a clarity you did not have before. You begin to know things without needing them confirmed 100 times. You begin to understand without requiring every detail explained. You sense what is right without arguing it back and forth inside yourself for hours. This is not the nervous intuition of your old self. It is my light placed within your mind, like a lamp set down at your feet that shows you the next step on a dark path. When you are standing on my foundation, you no longer have to grope your way forward through the fog, and you will start to tell the difference between 2 kinds of silence that once seemed identical to you. There is a silence that is only avoidance, the quiet of a heart hiding from what it needs to face. And there is a silence that is presence, the deep quiet of a soul resting in something solid. In the past, you confused the two, calling it peace when it was really only avoidance. But as I rebuild your foundation, the difference will become unmistakable. One kind of silence makes you shrink, the other kind opens you up, and I am leading you, step by step, into the second one. From this point forward, you will begin to live from the inside out, instead of the way you lived before. You used to try to fix all your circumstances first, hoping that once everything was finally settled, your heart would somehow find peace. But I am reversing the order. I am placing peace inside you first, so that from that center, your circumstances can begin to fall into their proper place. There is a command in the scriptures that says, "Be still and know that I am God," and that stillness is not avoidance. It is the restoration of order in your soul. As I lift your inner being, you will not become greater in the way the world measures greatness. You will become deeper, more rooted, more firmly planted within yourself. A new kind of freedom will start to form in you, one that does not come from your circumstances or your achievements, or the approval of other people, but from my presence covering your life. It is a freedom that money cannot buy, that success cannot produce, that recognition can never grant. There is a promise that if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And this is the freedom not merely from outer chains, but from everything that once bound you on the inside. You will feel a genuine expansion in your heart. Spaces that used to be cramped by anxiety, by reaction, by fear will open and let you breathe. The old triggers will lose their grip on you, not because they have all vanished, but because the foundation underneath you has changed. You will find yourself speaking less, yet your words will carry more weight. Your reactions will slow down, not because you have grown distant, but because you are learning to discern before you respond. You will love with more clarity than before, knowing what to hold and what to release, knowing what comes from me and what is only noise. Conversations that used to unsettle you for days will pass like waves that no longer pull you under. Situations that once sent you into panic will now lead you to pause, to breathe, and to stay steady. This peace does not arrive only after the storm, it stands with you inside the storm. So let me teach you how to actually live inside this new dwelling, because even a house I build still requires you to learn how to live in it well. The first practice is this: learn to return inward before you make any decision. This is not hesitation, and it is not delay, it is alignment. You will go on living in the middle of a loud world, but inside you there is now a quiet chamber where I dwell, a place you can step into and meet the truth again. Each time you enter that stillness, you will notice something. My voice becomes clearer than your emotions. My guidance becomes more distinct than your automatic reactions. The truth runs deeper than your passing feelings. In practical terms, this means you will stop firing back in anger the instant you are provoked. You will stop reacting out of an old wound every time your past is touched. You will stop rushing the moment a door closes in front of you. Instead, you will pause. You will turn inward. You will breathe. And in that small space of stillness, you will hear something steadier than every voice clamoring around you. I am here. The second practice goes even deeper. You must build your life on truth and not on comfortable illusions. There is a promise that you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Truth is not always comfortable, but it is always liberating. For a long time, you built your life on quiet expectations, the expectation that other people would eventually change, that circumstances would improve on their own, that the pain would simply fade if you were patient enough. But those are not foundations. They are constructions of the mind, designed to help you avoid confrontation, and anything built on illusion will tremble the moment reality touches it. Your new dwelling cannot rest on what is not real. It can only stand when you are willing to face what is true, even when that truth asks you to look honestly at yourself. So I am teaching you a new kind of courage, the courage of truth. When you dare to face your emotions instead of fleeing from them, you do not become weaker. You become free. When you dare to admit that certain relationships no longer fit the road I have set before you, you do not become cold. You become clear. When you dare to acknowledge your own limits without condemning yourself for them, you do not lose your worth. You step into real maturity. And here is the deepest part. Your strength was never meant to come from the pressure of always having to appear strong. There is a paradox in the scriptures where it is said that when I am weak, then I am strong. True strength does not come from denying your weakness. It comes from no longer being afraid to bring that weakness into the light. The third practice is the steadiest of all. Do not leave the dwelling, no matter the season. The house I am building inside you was never designed to stand only in good weather. It is built to stand in every season of your life. There will be days when everything seems to soar, when each step flows with ease and every door swings open. And there will be days when you feel heavy and tested and stretched by things you do not understand. But I am forming a new constancy in you, one that does not rise and fall with the season. You do not come to me only when life is good and drift away when life is hard. You remain in me as a fixed place, not as a fluctuating mood. There is a promise that I will never leave you and never forsake you, and I am teaching you to live the other side of that promise in return. When you rejoice, you do not drift off the foundation. When you grieve, you do not fall away from it. When you succeed, you do not forget it. When you are disappointed, you do not run back to the old habits of self-protection and control. You simply return to me, the one unchanging point in the middle of everything that moves. Even when you walk through the valley of the shadow, you do not need to fear, because I am with you. It is not the circumstance that has to change first. It is the place where you anchor your heart that stays unshaken. And remember this above all, your new dwelling does not stand because you are holding it together. It stands because I am holding you within it. You are not responsible for maintaining your own stability by sheer effort. You only need to remain in me, and I will sustain every part of the structure. So walk in truth and not in illusion. Stand in me and not in the shifting of the seasons. Remain in the dwelling not as a visitor passing through, but as one who has been permanently established, and you will watch as nothing in your life is able to shake the foundation I am laying inside you. There is something I am building in you that is not only for you. I am forming you into a living space of peace, a place that others can step into and feel something they cannot quite name. In the days ahead, you will begin to notice, not through any outward noise, but through the deep stillness in your own soul, that your presence carries a different kind of quiet now. It is not an empty silence. It is not the awkward silence of avoidance. It is a silence with weight to it, like a room that has been touched by something holy and filled with peace. There is a description in the scriptures of a peace that guards your heart and mind, and I want you to understand that this guarding does not only surround you, it flows out of you, not because you manufacture it, but because you are now dwelling in the one who is its source. People who draw near to you will not only hear your words, they will feel what stands behind your words, a space that does not rush to judge them, that does not push them away, that does not make them feel they have to shrink in order to be accepted. You will become, almost without trying, a place where weary souls can finally exhale. There is a beautiful saying that you are the light of the world, and that a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Light was never created to be sealed up inside a closed room. It naturally reaches outward, and the peace I am placing in you will do the very same thing. It will not stay contained. It will move through you to the tired and searching people around you. In a world that is constantly shifting and reacting and grasping for something to hold on to, your life will become a place of stillness, not because you have control over everything, but because you are no longer controlled by anything. And that, more than any argument you could ever make, is what will draw others towards you. They will come near, not because you have all the answers, and not because you are more perfect than they are, but because in you they sense something they have been starving for, a space without judgment. They will feel that near you they do not have to wear a mask, they do not have to prove their worth, they do not have to make themselves smaller in order to be welcome. And this is exactly the heart of how the Lord Himself moved through the world. He sat down at the table with the very people that society had thrown away, the tax collectors, the outcasts, the ones everyone else had labeled unworthy. He did not push them away, and He did not diminish them. He opened a space where they could rediscover who they truly were. You are being brought into that same current, not to become someone who stands over others in judgment, but to become a place where others encounter life. But you must understand something clearly, or this will become a weight you were never meant to carry. What people sense in you is not you. It is me dwelling in you. You are not the source. You are the place through which the river flows, so you do not have to strive to become something for them. You only have to remain in me. Presence is more powerful than explanation. You do not need to talk endlessly to bring peace into a room. The steadiness inside you is already speaking. You do not need to try to fix or heal anyone. I will use your presence to reach them in ways that words never could. And the deepest realization of all is this: the very moment you stop straining to be a safe place for others, you become one naturally, because it is no longer your effort. It is my work in you. There is a line in the scriptures that says God is within her, and so she will not be moved. When I dwell in you, your life itself becomes a refuge through which I reach the weary and the searching. And this refuge will not come from your perfection. It will not come from the absence of weakness in you. It will come from the fact that you have walked through your own places of breaking and were still upheld by my hand. That is what makes your presence real, unforced, untouched by pretense. There will be people who draw near to you and will not need long explanations. They will simply need to stand in the space you carry. They will begin to feel lighter without knowing why. They will begin to breathe more deeply without understanding the reason. And in those moments, I will be using your ordinary life as living proof that there really is a refuge for the human soul. You will be able to say to them with a simple and unembellished honesty, I too once feared I would collapse. I too once did not know what to hold on to. But I was brought into a place where I no longer had to hold myself together. And that truth, spoken from a healed place, will carry more power than any persuasion ever could. And now I want to speak something over you that closes one season and opens another. The old house has reached the end of its time. This is not because it never mattered. It served a real purpose once. The structures of fear, the habits of avoidance, the careful walls of self-defense, they all played their part in keeping you alive through seasons you might not otherwise have survived. But they can no longer contain who you are becoming. So, I am leading you out of them, and I will no longer allow you to live in the temporary, makeshift state of a soul that has only learned to survive. I am bringing you into the place where you truly belong. No more repeating the old cycles. No more returning to the former shelters. No more rebuilding houses that were never meant to stand. You have been repositioned. You have been reset. You are being established in a new reality of my presence. And within that reality, you no longer live merely to get through the day. You live to reflect me. So walk forward with this awareness firmly settled in you. You are not only being kept, you are also being sent. You are not only being comforted, you are being made into a place of comfort for others. You are not only being rebuilt, you are being used to touch the people around you through the very life I am restoring in you. My peace is covering you now, not as a passing feeling that comes and goes, but as an unshakable foundation. My presence is holding you, not only so that you can stand firm, but so that your standing becomes a sign to others that I am truly present in the middle of human life. From this point on, you will no longer move through your days merely as someone who was rescued. You will live as someone who dwells in me, and through your life, many other people will quietly begin to find their way home. And as you walk within this dwelling, you will come to understand something profound. You will no longer be searching for me as a distant destination, as a place you have to journey to reach. I will have become the very air you breathe, the environment you live inside. There will no longer be a sense of near or far, of belonging in one moment and feeling abandoned in the next. There will only be presence, steady and deep and unshakable. You will have been established in me, and from that place, every step you take will no longer be a search for home. It will be a life lived out from within the home that I prepared for you long before you ever knew you needed it. Hold tightly to this truth, because everything depends on it. You belong to me. Do not merely hear it as a beautiful idea and let it slip away. Let it become the foundation of every thought you carry. When you truly know that you are eternally loved, you will stop being terrified of being abandoned. When you truly believe that you belong to me, you will stop searching for your identity in lesser places. There is a question raised in the scriptures that asks, "Who shall separate us from the love of God?" And then it answers itself by declaring that nothing can. Not trouble, not hardship, not failure, not any power above or below. No circumstance you will ever face, no mistake you have ever made, no force in all of creation can separate you from my love. Let that become the very rhythm of your breath. When you wake in the morning, remember that you are loved. When you stumble, remember that you are held. When you succeed, remember the source of every good thing. And when you step into the larger things I set before you, do not move in fear, but in the certainty that I am going with you. You are mine, not for a season, but forever. I know there are still questions you carry that you do not dare say out loud. Why has the thing I asked for still not come? Why do certain doors stay shut? Why does the sky seem so quiet? I do not condemn you for asking, but I invite you to lay those questions down in trust, the way a child lays their head against the chest of a father they have learned to rely on. My timing is never off by even a single beat. What you call late is often perfectly on time, according to a wisdom far beyond what you can see. You see through the narrow window of the present. I see from the beginning all the way to the end. You see one bend in the road. I see the entire road. You see a closed door while I see the turns that door is protecting you from. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts, and my ways are higher than your ways. And this does not mean I am distant from you. It means I am wider in scope, holding what you cannot hold, seeing what you cannot see. So let your heart rest in my faithfulness. Do not measure my love by the speed of my answers. Do not judge my care by the particular form my response takes. I am not slow, I am precise. I am not withholding out of reluctance, I am acting in wisdom. And what I am preparing for you is not merely a temporary blessing that fades, but a lasting fullness that endures. There is a promise that the one who began a good work in you will carry it through to completion, and I have not forgotten that promise for even a moment. When you look back from further down the road, you will smile, and you will say that every delay was the evidence of a love that never once missed its timing. You will see that every tear you shed was gathered and kept, that every sigh was remembered, that every moment which felt like rejection was only a step leading toward a greater giving. I see the weariness that has settled into your thoughts like a heavy mist over a field before the sun has risen. I know the things you have been quietly carrying, the responsibilities, the expectations, the unnamed anxieties, and I do not treat any of it lightly. But there are burdens on your shoulders right now that were never meant to be yours. There are pressures you took on because you believed you had to be strong, that you had to be perfect, that you had to manage everything entirely on your own. So today I am telling you, lay them down, not because you are weak, but because you were created to live in reliance, not in exhaustion. I never asked you to become a wall holding up the sky. I am your fortress. There is an old promise that the Lord will fight for you, and that you need only to be still. And that stillness is not the stillness of giving up. It is the stillness of trust, the quiet of a soul that has finally remembered who is actually carrying the weight. So I am asking you to release the things that were crushing you and to fix your eyes on me rather than on the size of the storm. Remember Peter on the water one more time. As long as his gaze stayed on the one who called him, the waves could not pull him down. It was only when he turned to stare at the wind that he began to sink. Faith is not the denial that the storm is real. It is the certainty of who is standing with you inside it. And I am calling you out of the land of hesitation, where you have grown used to waiting for one more sign before you dare to believe. You do not need more evidence when you already have my word. To live by faith means choosing to believe, even when your emotions have not caught up yet, choosing to take a step forward even when you cannot see the whole picture, and trusting me with the authority to keep writing the story of your life. And when you do, you will discover that I am not only composing gentle, quiet pages, I am shaping a story full of power and purpose. So lift up your head. Do not let the weight of your past pull your gaze down to the ground. I do not place chains of regret on you. I place a crown of life upon you. There is a blessing spoken over the one who endures through trial, that having stood the test, they will receive the crown of life. That crown is not a symbol of pride. It is a mark of who you really are. You are not a wanderer lost in the wilderness of your own life. You are an heir of a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Even if the earth itself trembles, your foundation will remain. Storms will not disappear simply because you have begun to believe, but I am your refuge whenever the winds rise. And when the darkness covers your sight, my light does not go out. That light may not always turn the night instantly into day, but it is always enough to keep you from losing your way. You may have thought yourself far too small to carry anything great inside you, but I do not call the way the world calls. The world looks at the outward appearance, at the impressive resume, at the loud and the obvious. But I look at the heart. When the prophet Samuel was searching for a king and looked at the tall, strong older brothers, he assumed the chosen one stood among them. And I told him that people see only the surface, but I see the heart. Then I chose the youngest, the overlooked shepherd boy who had been left out in the field, because I saw in him what no one else had dared to imagine. And I see in you what you have not yet allowed yourself to believe. I see strength hidden inside your gentleness, courage hidden behind your trembling, and light even in the moments when all you can feel is the dark. There is a kind of awakening that comes when truth finally reaches you. Think of the man born blind, who had never once seen the light until the daylight came to him and his eyes were opened. When the light arrived, the darkness could no longer hold the shape it had always held. That is what happens inside you when truth touches a place that has been in shadow for years. The things that once felt fine, even though they were never right, begin to feel unbearable, and that is not a sign that you are breaking down. It is a sign that you are being brought into alignment with what is true. You are being moved from the sand onto the rock, from the temporary onto the eternal, from a life held together by your own straining grip into a life held together by me. So let my voice be the one that guides you. Do not let your heart be torn between the eternal promises I have spoken and the passing voices that shout for your attention. When you choose to trust me, you are not stepping out into uncertainty. You are stepping into what I have already prepared. Rise up out of the place of doubt. Step past the boundaries that fear has drawn around your life. I am opening a path before you that is not only beautiful in where it leads, but powerful in why it exists. You do not belong to the darkness. You were not created to live bowed down and bracing yourself. You carry within you the identity of an heir, protected by me, guided by me, and loved with a love that cannot be shaken. And as you walk in that truth, you will not merely manage to exist. You will shine, because the light I placed inside you was never designed to fade. Lean the ear of your heart close to me for a moment, because what I want to say next does not come with thunder. It settles gently, the way morning mist settles over the fields at dawn. I did not come to make you tremble. I came to bring your trembling to an end. I did not come to add more weight to your shoulders. I came to lift off what you have been carrying for far too long. When every other voice in your life leaves you unsettled, my voice stays calm and clear. It never strains to compete with the noise, and it never fades away. And I knew you long before you ever knew yourself, before your very first cry ever echoed into this world. I had already seen your form taking shape in the hidden place. Your unformed body was not hidden from me, and all the days that were written for you were recorded before a single one of them had begun. You are not the result of an accident. You are not a late idea. You were imagined, planned, and loved before you could even understand what love was. So when the night stretches longer than you expected, and the silent thoughts begin to question your worth, remember that I remain the light that does not go out. That light does not blind you. It simply gives you enough to take the next safe step. I do not hand you the entire map of your life all at once. I give you guidance for one day at a time. And even in the moments when you are convinced you have to figure everything out alone, it is my hand quietly holding yours. You have never once walked this road by yourself, even when there was no one beside you, even when no one understood you, even when you did not know where to go. When no human being could comprehend what you were carrying, I understood it completely. My love for you was never a distant promise floating somewhere out of reach. It has always been a living presence surrounding you, closer to you than your own breath. There were seasons when you walked as though your feet were brushing the edge of an abyss, your heart weighed down by the certainty that no one truly understood what you carried. You withdrew into yourself through long nights, when the darkness seemed not only to surround you from the outside, but to seep into you from within. And yet, even in those moments, when you believed you had finally fallen into the deepest possible loneliness, I was there, not far off, observing from a safe distance but very near, holding you. I do not wait for you to become strong before I come close. It is in your most fragile moments that I am nearer than ever. So do not let a hard season hand you a verdict about your life. Do not let the heaviest hour write the definition of who you are. You think you are at an ending, but I am writing a beginning. You think you have nothing left to give, but I am the one who breathes life into what looked dry and lifeless. And I want you to learn to recognize the kind of peace I am giving you, because it is not the kind the world hands out. The world offers a peace that depends on everything going right. Mine is a peace that holds even when everything is unfinished. There is a promise that you will be kept in perfect peace when your mind stays fixed on me. And notice that the peace is tied to where you set your attention, not to whether your circumstances have settled. Before you needed the whole world to grow quiet, before your heart could rest. You needed every story resolved, every problem solved, every relationship free of conflict before you would let yourself breathe deeply. But I am teaching your heart to rest while the story is still being written. And when you realize you are no longer living in constant reaction, but living instead from a settled center, you will know that something deeper than your circumstances has begun to change. Weeping may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Hold on to that, because it is not only a poetic phrase. It is a pattern woven into the way I work. The night is real. I will never pretend your sorrow is not real. But the night is not the whole of the story, and the morning is not in doubt. That morning is not merely a change in your circumstances. It is a transformation inside your heart. The moment you realize that I am still here, still leading, still faithful to every word I have spoken. So rise up from the place of regret, wipe the tears from your face, and look forward, not with dread, but with trust. I do not take anything away from you without a purpose. I do not allow you to pass through the fire without intending to refine you and bring you out as something more precious than you went in. The strength you have been searching for is not somewhere outside of you, waiting to be found. It is being formed inside of you by me even now, so keep moving forward, even if your steps still tremble, because in every step I am there. And one day, when you look back on this very stretch of road, you will understand that the days you thought were your weakest were the exact days I was shaping you into someone unshakable. There is a reason the road has felt longer than you expected, and it is not the reason you fear. When my people came out of slavery and stood on the edge of the land I had promised them, many of them wanted to rush straight in, to seize it all at once. But their hearts were not yet ready to hold what they were demanding. And so the journey was lengthened, and they were led through the wilderness. It was not because I wanted them to suffer. It was because I wanted them to be formed. The wilderness was never a place of abandonment. It was a place of preparation. And the same is true of your own long road. Every stretch of delay carries a purpose. I am cultivating endurance in you. I am driving the roots of your faith down deeper. I am teaching you to know me, not only through the blessings you receive, but through my presence in the times when the blessing has not yet come. So do not accuse me when a door has not yet opened. Give thanks instead that I can see what you cannot. There are things that, handed to you too soon, would overwhelm you. There are dreams that, fulfilled before you were ready, could cause you to lose yourself. But as you keep trusting through the waiting, you will receive not only the thing you asked for, but something far more complete. There is a promise that I withhold no good thing from those who walk with integrity, and that goodness is so much wider than the visible success you have been picturing. It includes maturity, it includes depth, it includes a living relationship with me that nothing in this world can give you and nothing in this world can take away. Because in the end, I do not only want to give you my gifts. I want to give you myself, the source from which every gift flows. If you chase only the things my hand can hold and forget to seek my face, you will lose heart every time an answer is delayed. But when you seek me first, you will find that my presence itself was the answer all along. And here is something you can build your whole life upon. I do not change. The world shifts constantly. Hearts waver. Circumstances rise and fall like the tide. But I remain exactly who I am. There is a declaration that says, I, the Lord, do not change. And that single truth holds your entire future steady. The promises I have spoken over you do not wear out with the passing of time. When I call you mine, it is not a passing sentiment. When I commit to love you, it is not a fleeting emotion that fades when you fail. It is a covenant established deeper than every change you will ever live through. So you do not have to live bracing yourself, afraid that one mistake will undo everything. My love does not shrink when you stumble, and it does not expand when you succeed. It simply remains steadfast and unmoved, exactly like the one who gives it. So do not be in a hurry to dig up the seed to check whether it has begun to sprout. Trust the process and trust the one overseeing it. There is a promise that those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength, that they will rise up on wings like eagles, that they will run and not grow weary, that they will walk and not faint. Notice that waiting does not wear you down in the end. It renews you. It restores the very strength you thought the waiting was draining away. And when the appointed time finally arrives, you will no longer call it delay. You will call it the perfect wisdom of a Father who loved you far more than you understood. There is a word spoken through the prophet Jeremiah that I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm, plans to give you a future and a hope. You were not created merely to endure your days. You were created and called to step into places where my light is meant to shine through you. When my love finally takes hold of you, it does not stop at simply comforting you. It transforms you into someone who carries hope to others. And you are still a work in progress, never a finished and flawed product to be thrown away. Like a potter patient with the clay, I do not discard you the moment I notice a crack. I reshape, I refine, I keep forming you until what I always intended begins to appear. So when you feel the pressure of my hands on the places that still ache, do not pull away in fear. I am not pressing to wound you. I am pressing to heal you and to prepare you for things far greater than you have ever allowed yourself to imagine. I do not define you by your mistakes. If I judged only by failure, I would never have called David a man after my own heart, and I would never have restored Peter after he denied me 3 times. I see past your past. I see the seed I planted in you, the capacity to love in the middle of coldness, to bring healing into broken places, to shine light into the dark. So do not diminish yourself because of where you have fallen. Do not let the voice of shame drown out the voice of your calling. I am not looking for flawless perfection in you. I am looking for a willing heart, and the moment you offer me even that, I will begin to do in you and through you what you could never have done on your own. I am carrying out a deep and quiet work in you, reclaiming you from places where you no longer belong. It does not happen with noise or spectacle. It moves more like a current beneath the surface, unhurried yet certain, unstoppable in its direction. You will begin to feel that you no longer fit inside the old spaces. You will notice that you no longer resonate with the heavy atmospheres you once simply endured. You might worry that something is wrong with you, that you have grown inconsistent or restless. But it is not inconsistency. It is the realignment of your soul. You are hearing a call deeper than all your familiar attachments, the same call Abraham heard when he was led out of his homeland without fully understanding why. And it is not the voice of loss. It is the voice of return, a return to the place where you no longer have to pretend to be strong, a return to the place where you no longer have to keep everything under control, a return to the place where you do not have to save yourself. There will be moments in all of this when you feel disoriented, as though everything that once anchored you is quietly slipping away. But hear me, this is not disintegration, it is repositioning. I am moving you out of temporary shelter and into true belonging. And in that move, some things will naturally stop fitting, not because they were evil, but simply because you have changed. You are no longer the old self straining to survive inside an old structure. You are becoming something new. There is a declaration in the scriptures that if anyone is in me, they are a new creation, that the old has passed away and everything has become new. This newness is not just a title you wear. It is the way you breathe, the way you respond, the way you exist. So when you sense that you are no longer the same person you used to be, do not be afraid. When you find that you no longer fit into the things that once defined you, do not be troubled. When you feel a desire to grow still rather than keep striving, do not resist it. This is not you losing something. This is you being brought home. I am rebuilding you from the inside, layer by layer, breath by breath. There are days when I am laying foundation, and days when I am removing old material, and days when I seem to be simply still, so that you can learn to recognize my presence even when there is no visible movement. But there is not a single day in which I step away from the work in you. Just as a wise builder never abandons a half-finished house, I will never abandon the soul I am restoring. Some days you will watch old things fall away on their own. Habits that used to grip you will lose their hold. Conversations that used to consume you will no longer find a place to land. You may not understand the reasons right away, but I am clearing the ground the way a farmer prepares a field before planting, turning the soil of your inner life so that what is new can grow. Other days you will find yourself drawn more deeply into stillness, no longer chasing the noise you once needed, no longer threatened by silence. That is when I am raising the first walls of your new dwelling, not with visible stone, but with the quiet stability of your soul. And there will be days when you simply no longer want to fight battles that have lost their meaning. Not because you have grown weaker, but because I have shifted the center inside you. You no longer react from old instincts, because I am placing a new covering of peace over your life, the kind of peace that does not run from trials, but rises above them. When you begin to feel a quiet warmth spreading through your heart in moments that used to feel empty, that is the clearest sign that the new dwelling is nearing completion. Not because everything in your life is finished, but because I am drawing near in every part of you that is being rebuilt. And then you will understand something unshakable. I am not only the builder, I am the foundation, and the walls, and the covering, and the very breath inside that dwelling. You will realize you are no longer someone searching for a place to belong. You have become someone who dwells in me, no longer a temporary shelter, no longer something patched together out of fragile pieces. You are living inside a reality that I myself sustain, and nothing on the outside can shake what I am establishing within you. So let your heart finally come to rest in this. What is changing in your life is not a sign that you are being abandoned. It is a sign that you are being placed exactly where you are meant to be. I have not withdrawn from you. I am drawing you deeper into myself, and as you go on, you will stop searching for peace in the stillness of your circumstances and start finding it in the certainty that I am here, unchanging, unwavering, never letting go of you for even a single moment. You no longer need to make yourself smaller to fit into old patterns. You were created to grow in me, and as I expand you, the old structures will simply no longer fit. That is not loss. That is maturity. There is a saying that when one was a child, they spoke and thought like a child, but when they became mature, they set the childish things aside. You are crossing that very threshold now, being led out of the old house, not to leave you disoriented, but to bring you into the place where you truly belong, a place built not on fear, not held up by control, not sustained by strain, but founded on me, where no storm can ever reach the deepest part of you. As all of this takes root, you will begin to notice the change not only in how you feel, but in the very texture of your ordinary days. You will find that you can sit with your own emotions without needing to run from them. You will no longer cover them over with busyness or noise or silence the way you once did. The truth that used to frighten you will begin to feel like something safe to face, because you will no longer be facing it alone. There is a promise that my Spirit searches all things, even the deep things, and that means my presence does not avoid the hidden places in you. It illuminates them, not to expose you, but to heal you. So when my light reaches a place that has been locked away in fear for years, you will not feel humiliated. You will feel set free. You will stop needing to maintain the careful image of being fine in front of everyone. You will begin to live honestly in my presence, and that honesty will make you more secure than every layer of defense you ever built. You will also begin to see the relationships around your life with a new clarity. not through harsh judgment, but through a quiet inner discernment. You will start to recognize what genuinely nourishes you and what slowly drains you, what carries life and what is only the endless repetition of an old pattern. And you will no longer feel as confused by it as you once did, because the light within you will finally be bright enough to see clearly. You may wonder why this is happening, and the answer is simple. The atmosphere inside your inner dwelling has shifted. Just as a house placed on a new foundation causes everything within it to settle differently, so it is with you. What no longer belongs in your life will begin to fall away without any force on your part. What once stirred your emotions instantly will no longer find a place to take hold. This is not you becoming hard or rigid. It is you being rightly established, finally rooted in something that does not move. And this discernment will show up in small, tangible ways that you can actually feel. You will no longer fire back in anger the instant someone provokes you. You will no longer react out of an old wound every time your past is brushed against. You will no longer rush into panic the moment a door closes in front of you. Instead, you will pause. You will turn inward to that quiet chamber where I dwell. You will breathe, and in that stillness, you will hear something far steadier than every voice around you, the simple and unshakable awareness that I am here. From that place, your choices will no longer be reflexive but guided, no longer defensive but discerning, no longer driven by fear but grounded in the steadiness that comes from me. You are learning an entirely new way of living, not from reaction but from presence, not to escape pain, but to live from a place where pain no longer rules you. And as you move deeper into this, you will realize that I am not only changing your circumstances, I am changing the way you exist inside every circumstance you will ever face. That is what it truly means to be lifted, and no one can ever take it from you, because it does not rest in the hands of other people. It rests in me, the one who holds you in an unshakable steadiness. So in this stillness, let me draw the whole of it together for you, because everything I have spoken has been leading to one simple place. You were never created to wander among temporary shelters, visiting my presence only when you were exhausted and had nowhere else to turn. I did not make you a lodger in your own life. I formed you to dwell, to belong, to breathe inside my presence, the way breath belongs to life itself. And you will know you have truly entered that dwelling, not by some outward sign, but by a profound shift in the way you exist. You will know it when you no longer have to prove anything in order to be acknowledged. You will know it when you no longer shrink yourself in order to be accepted, and no longer inflate yourself in order to be seen. When all of that striving finally goes quiet, you will know you are standing on something real. You will no longer live as someone fighting just to exist. You will live as someone already established in a reality that was prepared for you in me before you ever arrived. And from inside that dwelling, you will live from the inside out, instead of forever reversing the order the way you used to. You will stop trying to fix every circumstance in the desperate hope that your heart might finally settle afterward. Instead, I will place peace within you first, and from that settled center, the circumstances around you will begin to find their proper order. Be still and know that I am God. That stillness is not avoidance. It is the restoration of order in your soul. You will discover that you no longer need to strain to preserve your own worth. You do not have to exaggerate what is small in you or diminish what is great in you. You only have to be present, and your presence in me is already enough. You no longer have to earn acceptance, because you are already held inside an acceptance that has no end. I did not bring you into this house so you could stand outside and gaze in through the window. I brought you in to live here, not to visit when you are weak, but to remain through every season, not as a temporary refuge, but as your permanent home. I know you have lived for a long time as someone who had to hold their breath in order to feel safe, who kept silent to avoid conflict, who kept their distance to avoid pain, who kept themselves small so they would not be broken again. But that was never the life I intended for you. True security has never come from controlling everything around you. It comes from knowing that I am here and that I am not going anywhere. So let me be your refuge. Let me rewrite the lines you were sure had been written wrong. Let me breathe life back into the things you believed had faded for good. And whatever still lies ahead, whether your steps are steady or still trembling, whether the whole path is visible or only the next few feet of it, remember that I walk with you, not as a distant observer, but as a father who upholds, protects, and never abandons the child he loves. So if your heart is ready, then let this be the moment you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Lay down the false supports you trusted, the fragile pieces you clung to, the relationships and habits and constant control you believed could hold you together. Lay down the need to understand every reason before you take a step. You do not have to walk in uncertainty anymore. You only have to walk in my light, where you no longer have to grope your way forward. Surrender the parts of you that still tremble at the thought of change, the parts that long to run back to the old house of fear, the parts that still try to control everything in order to avoid pain. Let me place my peace in exactly those places, not as something laid over the surface, but as a transformation in the deepest part of who you are, and give thanks, even now, for the times I did not change your circumstances right away, but instead changed your heart first, so that you could stand firm in the middle of them. Give thanks that I did not leave you in the decaying foundations you once built, but patiently led you out of them, one step at a time, even when you did not understand. Give thanks that even when you were certain you were losing everything, I was quietly transforming what was inside you, so that you would no longer be bound by what was old. Give thanks that every old thing that has fallen away did not leave you empty, but prepared you for what I am placing in you now. Give thanks that even the shaking was never abandonment, but the sign that my hand was reaching all the way down into the foundation of your soul. And give thanks that you are no longer a stranger inside your own life, but someone being led into a true dwelling where you never again have to pretend to be strong in order to survive. So here, at the close of all these words, I want you to hold one final picture in your heart. The night is real, but the morning is certain. Your peace will no longer come only after everything settles. It will go ahead of your circumstances, the way the first light goes ahead of the dawn, while the sky is still dark, announcing a day that has already begun even before you can see it. You are not someone still searching for a home. I have become your home, not a place you visit, not a shelter you lean on for a while and then leave. The place where you live, where you move, where you belong, now and always. And every step you take from here will no longer be a journey looking for somewhere to rest. It will be a life lived out from within the rest I prepared for you long before you knew you needed it. So rise, beloved, not in confusion, but in the quiet certainty that you are being led. You are not walking alone. You have not been forgotten. You are being carried out of the shadow of everything temporary into a light that will never fade. I go before you to open the way, beside you to steady your steps, and behind you to gather everything you leave undone. Not a single step you take will fall outside of my keeping. And when you finally look back across the whole of this road, you will understand that nothing was wasted. Not one tear, not one delay, not one silent night. Every part of it was being woven with a patience and a love far greater than you could comprehend into the most radiant chapter of your life. So breathe deeply, lift your head. The old house is behind you, and the dawn is already rising. You are seen, you are known, and you are loved with a love that will never ever run dry.